Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nexus where we spotlight some of our favorite local businesses. Today we have Scott Maag here. He has an exciting new concept. It's a traveling makerspace called Albert and Wick's, and we're really excited to introduce this concept to you guys. So thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what I really like to do when I start these shows is just get a little bit of a feel for who you are, where you came from, you know, and how you got to doing what you're doing today.
Okay. The easiest way to say the background, I am in construction. My father started the construction company in 1974 back in western Nebraska. I was one of his first employees, me and his brother, one of my uncles. And as time developed, I moved with my father to New York and eventually took over the company, and now I'm in construction.
Wonderful. I love that. My dad was a builder, so I understand your world somewhat. I saw a lot of conversations around the kitchen table, my parents discussing home plans or renovations with their clients, and I'm sure you've done a lot of that in your life.
Sure, a lot of conversation.
Yeah. So that led you to realizing you're going to need some help getting these projects done, right?
Yes.
And that's found to be like somewhat difficult. Am I right?
Well, in my experience, the biggest problem with construction is there's kind of a standard way that we do it. We're always looking for the kind of similar people. Mm-hmm. We're all kind of training in the same similar way, which is, in my opinion, our biggest problem, and it's a reason why we're having trouble finding help, because it's not a job that's encouraging to want to do. It seems to be a job that's punishment for not achieving goals that most people didn't really have, if that makes sense.
It can be, and I think that it's hard work, right? Sometimes we shy away from hard work, but you were talking earlier about how you can be making something so incredible and it can be so rewarding. Is that one of the reasons why you love what you're doing?
There is a lot of, you can wait for the compliments on projects when you're done. The homeowner's hopefully going to be very happy with the project, and you're going to get paid for that, and that should be a compensation up. But you can really enjoy some of your projects, and there's showers and there's photos of stuff that I've done, like a shower that I'm working on. I'm really happy with how it's working out so far.
Yeah.
Except for a few problems.
I mean, that feels good to like make something that's going to be here and living in someone's home and something they use every day.
The thing I can tell you the most with construction and what I like about it is it's very rare that when I'm done with that day that I don't feel like I didn't use up the energy that I had. By the time you're done, you're wasted. You've got all your energy done with. Yeah. And that's one thing I like about construction.
Well, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm going to be building a home on Friday with Habitat for Humanity. They're doing their Women Build Day, and so hopefully I get to swing a hammer or, you know, run a paint roller or something like that.
There's always work.
Get exhausted. I know how exhausting that work is. So.
Sure.
Okay, so that kind of led you to wanting to teach other people these trades, right?
The biggest problem with the training is that we don't, in my opinion, there is the training that we're providing is live job sites, and there's usually some stress in that live job site. So the idea of having a makerspace would be a little bit more comfortable environment for that person if they've never been in construction at all, to kind of get introduced to what it's like to swing a hammer and actually have to smash a nail and do stuff like that. And if there's somebody that has some experience, maybe we can give them a little bit chance, or give them a better chance to experience construction without the rage and the hatred that, you know, I have a bad experience with myself. Give them a better environment.
Yeah, I can't say that my dad was the best teacher. My brother has a few stories,
Sure.
But you know, it's just stressful, and it's like you're under a time constraint, trying to get a project done under budget, and just a lot goes into it on the job.
And I don't want to make it sound like it's that simple. I can say from experience that when a mistake happens, it's going to cost money, and that's profit. You know, you're never going to be able to go to the homeowner and say, I need you to give us more money because a mistake happened because of me or because of the crew. Mm-hmm. But if somebody on that crew makes that mistake, I still have to pay for that mistake and their training. If we can do it in an environment where I'm not trying to make a profit, there is some extra stuff like we discussed with Habitat and their materials, then we can can absorb some of the loss of that training.
Yeah.
Training's gonna be expensive.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's, they have all the statistics on what it costs to train
Sure.
a new employee, and
Sure.
it is astronomical, right? But what's exciting is you're giving people that maybe aren't even in trades right now, maybe they're working at a convenience store, or, you know, they're working somewhere else, and they're interested in like using their skills and abilities and putting it to good use doing one of the trades.
Sure.
Giving people opportunity is really exciting.
It's and again, it's a personal opinion of mine, it's the stigma of being in that kind of work. If you're in a service economy or a service employee, then there's kind of a demeaning thing about it, which I don't think is necessary or fair.
Right.
So the idea is to give them a different chance of if you, like you're saying, you go to somebody that works in a convenience store, they're not feeling fulfilled, maybe we've got a better way to do that for them.
Yeah.
And maybe earn some money in the same breath.
Yeah, and you just have so much pride in what you're doing then. And
Pride's a big
it's
word.
Exciting.
Pride's
Yeah.
a big word.
Well, I do want you to kind of talk on, we got these poker chips here. I don't know if you can see the logo for Albert and Wick's, but there's a really good looking gorilla on here with a little bit of a smile on his face. Tell us a little bit about this guy.
It was the name of the Makerspace, Albert and Wick's, comes from my father's dad's name was Albert, and my mother's dad's nickname was Wick. So Albert and Wick's came from that. As I was sitting there trying to come up with a new idea, and just working on the idea of the Makerspace and trying to come up with the idea of the name. And then I don't know exactly where the gorilla came from, but I promise you there was the movie 12 Monkeys was involved in it. I don't know how, but that gorilla came to, it was a monkey that I was working on, and then working with the team over at Revolution Wrap. I apologize, I couldn't come up with it quick enough. They helped me come up with that gorilla and the hard hat and the smirk on his face.
Yeah,
And there's just something
he's
about
great.
his look. There's an attitude there about him, right?
And what's his name?
Ubuntu.
And tell us a little more about what
See,
Ubuntu.
That's where you're going to challenge me, because I'm having trouble with how that all worked out. But basically, it's an African word that means, it basically is a tribal name where you're talking about the community.
Yeah.
You're not being a selfish human being. You're developing your skills, and you're developing what you can, because it's better for the community.
Yeah.
If we're all doing better, then we have a better community.
If I have something, I'm willing to share it. And I think what you said earlier was like, I am because we are.
There you go. That works perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a team building thing, and the one thing that again we talk about in construction, there are really profitable, good construction companies out there that understand teamwork.
Yeah.
And understand that if you have a weakness, the team will work that weakness to a strength.
Yeah.
But if you try and do it on your own, you're just going to beat your head against the wall.
Right. I wish that there was a little bit more of that in the world, don't you?
I'll tell you one of the things, and this is an inspiration to mine, and it was a company that's here in Lincoln. I was working with a guy who wanted to build a brew pub, and I started talking to a company about supplying the materials, and they gave me quite a bit of contact information from different microbreweries. And I found in these microbreweries, they're all competitive with each other, but they all work together. If you need something, that microbrewery is going to help you, even though they want to destroy you at that competition.
Yeah.
There's still a communal aspect of it. And that's, again, something we don't have in construction. Every contractor is trying to compete with the other contractor. And they don't really have a community of it. You see the old guys drinking coffee in the morning, but I don't know what they're really accomplishing. So if we can come up with a way that we can all just kind of work together, it seems like it would work better.
Well, and learning together is a great way to build some of that camaraderie.
I've tried to learn on my own. It didn't work out that well. It's taken a long time to get to this age.
Ugh, you learn the hard way, don't you?
Yeah. Well, it's the learning part.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to learn it too.
Yeah. So one thing I think that's really cool about what you're doing is it's a little bit unconventional. You're still willing to like work out the path and see where this is taking you. It's a little bit new. It's something you've been thinking about for a number of years. you're getting some backing now. You've got some people on your board. Tell me a little bit about, you know, ways that people could get involved. I think everybody knows that there's like a need for additional people in the trade.
There's a massive need for it, so the idea is to now start working on getting the word out, getting into some of these networking groups. Have to stand there and talk a little bit more in front of people and answer questions.
I know that's your favorite thing. I kind of had to twist his arm to come in here today.
That's the first step, is to get into those groups, but more than anything else is to take these poker chips and just start going into where we'll find these, what we're calling students right now. Two of the people that are on the board are actual teachers out on the East Coast, and I've known these two ladies since I was 20, 21 years old. So I've got a really good history with them. And the idea is to work with them on actually making it easier for me to take what I actually have for skills and be able to teach those skills. One of my drawbacks, and one of the reasons I want to do this, I have talent. I can do a lot of things that are profitable for my business, but it's hard for me to actually show those skills without me being stressed. And that's the problem that I think we have in construction. There's a lot of people out there that have talents, but they don't know how to express those talents in an educational way. And working with these two ladies on the board, we're trying to figure out a way that we can make it a little easier to teach.
Yeah.
So that's my drawback. That's where I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
Not only public speaking, but being able to teach about it too.
But I thought it was really cool. You just said that you want to work with anybody that's willing to learn, right?
Anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to learn how to do it. If you're willing to learn, if you actually understand that there is going to be things that you are going to really be destroying yourself about. You know, my hands right now, I'm sitting here playing with my hands, they're cut up. It's a physical job.
It is.
And it's a mentally stressful job, and if you're not willing to take those challenges on, you're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to relax and accept the fact that you have, you know, limitations that we can get past and we can teach you some skills,
Yeah.
then we've got something.
Well, one thing I think is cool is you brought up a quote earlier about I think it's Denzel Washington, right?
Yes.
That said it? Okay, give us the quote and tell us a little bit more about what phase you're in.
It's basically the three phases of life is how I understand he was saying it. And in the first phase of life, you're learning. In the second phase of life, you're doing the best you can do to earn. And in the third phase of your life, you're returning. And I've gotten to a point, not that I think that I'm old, but you know, the gray beard doesn't help. I'll be 58 this January, and physically it's just not as easy as it used to be. I don't bounce back as well as I do. So if I try and do what I'm trying to do to earn and try and do this, I'm going to put myself into a pretty early grave if I keep beating my body up like this. So if I take on the return part of it, it's then trying to figure out a way to still be profitable, but make a little bit of a difference on what I know how to do in the charitable part of what I learned as a child.
Passing on what you do know and bringing up that next generation of people in the trades.
Somebody that can do the lifting, so I don't have to do it as much anymore. I'd like to be the boss that sits in the truck for a while.
Yeah. Well, what I thought was really cool about that is it really follows along the same storyline that I named the company after a book called Finding Your True North. And it's the same thing where, you know, your beginning of your life is just about yourself, getting started, you know, getting your career, getting savings. And then the next phase is, you know, you expand a little bit into your world and you have other people that, you know, depend on you, maybe kids, maybe a spouse, maybe your parents. And then eventually you come to realize, like, you're not going to be on this planet forever. And how are you going to leave a mark? How are you going to leave your legacy? You know, what are you going to leave behind? Is that something that you can give financially? Can you give your time? Can you give your knowledge? And what you're doing is, you know, giving that knowledge to people, and that's really cool.
There is, I don't know about the word legacy in the way that I understand the definition of it. I don't know if I really worry about if I leave a legacy as much as I really want to make sure that what I've done towards the end of my life isn't as selfish as it was in the beginning. You know, my 20s and 30s were not good for the community. And
Well,
they
I think
apologize.
anyone that age, you know, their world's about this big,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
I say that about teenagers.
Sure.
That's what I have.
I have it all figured out.
Yeah. And that's okay. I think we've all
Sure.
been there, so
Sure,
I
absolutely.
get it.
Well, and that's the idea, to work with some people that might still be at that age and that they think they've got it figured out. We'll teach you that you really don't.
Yeah.
And once you realize that you don't, it's going to be a lot easier.
True.
The more you think you've got it figured out, the less you really do, and you're just going to struggle.
Yeah, so if there's people that are out there that are interested in learning more, we'll tag your new website, and then I think that it's important too to just give people a little bit of hope. Like, what's something that you'd love to kind of wrap up the show with? Is there any like final wisdom that you have? Is, you know, just from being a business owner, being, you know, just a human, what do you want this world to know?
The only thing that, if there was ever one of those things where you say you could go back and change something, you know, I don't want to make it sound like I don't have regrets. I have full of regrets. But I'd like to be able to go back and just stop thinking I had it all figured out and just really listen to some of the advice out there.
Yeah.
It took way too long to realize I was ignorant on things that I'm trying to become better on.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a lot of people out there that might need to hear that, you know,
For me or in themselves?
in themselves.
Good. I don't want to say it too often.
Well, either way, I really appreciate you taking time to come in today, share your
appreciate it.
story. There'll be more to come, so maybe we'll have to do an update in a year or so and see where things are going and how many people have, you know, learned trades with you. So that's
My first
exciting.
interview, I appreciate the help.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in a few weeks.